Let's open it. This is that CGC return that I sent in late August. It got to CGC on August 24th. I'm looking at the screen right now. And it was shipped back to me on September 23rd. So the first card, let's see, is, I believe these are the 3 error cards I submitted. That's how I started off that video the last month. Let me actually get a little bit more comfortable. Here we have nice Electrode from Evolutions. It got a Mint 9 with the error qualifier on it, if we can see there. It has an OC for centering, which on CGC side counts as 8, I believe. So that's how it's weighed into the total grade. 9.5 surface, 9 on corners, 9.5 edges. Corners make sense too because of the miscut, just the way that the machine processes them. I think it does, often damage it. Look at that. And on the back of the slab itself, it says miscut. Not a huge fan. I kind of wish if underneath the grade itself, it said that it was a miscut and then had like an error qualifier somewhere else. Because if you have to flip it to read it, it's not as nice. I don't think it makes it as clear, but it's still amazing. And having it in this slab really kind of accentuates that error. It just pops well. So we know that's the Electrode. Let's see what this is. This one also has miscut on the back. Mewtwo from Evolutions also received a 9. Pretty much the same exact grades on surface, corners, and edges. It was just a different card, same grades. I'll take that. Any of these cards, I'm not concerned about the grade. I just wanted to get them slabbed. And here we have our Mint 9 Beedrill miscut. Also on the back has that miscut qualifier. Yeah, these are quite simple. The grades don't matter much to me personally. I just wanted to make sure these were slabbed and labeled correctly as miscuts. Happy with those. So if these are my error cards, I think the rest of this box is going to be all of the non-subgraded. The first card is an 8.5 Venusaur, Mega Venusaur EX from Evolutions. 8.5. Yeah, I'm not particularly sure why this grade's like that, but 8.5 is still a near mint card. I'm going to throw a little bit of like a price estimate, or at least my personal estimate, how I'd value these cards on the screen for each one. Next up, we have Mewtwo EX in a Mint 9. This is the full art Mewtwo. Beautiful card with that texture and coloring. I don't really have much to say about these. I think this is a fair grade. I would hope for 9s on most of the pack fresh stuff that you send in. So getting a 9 here is good. Let's pull over this one. 1, 2, 3. 8.5 Mega Blastoise EX. This is also from Evolutions. And this is kind of where this is why I've opted for the subgrades. I'm not sure why this gets at 8.5. It's a lot of up to my speculation of what I think is wrong. I think maybe the centering on the top docked it down. But moving forward, I am sending everything in with subgrades just to have a clearer conscience, so I know personally why this stuff grades the way it does. There we go, Mint 9, same exact card. I think this one has a little bit of a better centering on the top down compared to the other one. So that might explain that little bit of a difference in grades. And let me divvy these up by grade. So 8.5, 9. This card is, flip it around. Nice, my Zoroark GX. This is a Shining Legends promotion. We see it right there. Shining Legends Special Collection Zoroark GX. It's a Black Star promo. They label it well. Got a Mint 9. These, I think the other one is also going to be the Hidden Fates version. I sent these in just to get them graded. Not too concerned about how they come back because I think, even if you only get $30 for the card, I think it's still worth getting it slabbed. Oh, this is not Zoroark. This is Flying Pikachu from Evolutions. Here you go, get a Mint 9 as well. I'll take Mint 9s. A lot of these specific cards I sent in, I noticed that there was a little bit of off-centering, which might have weighed the grade down. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Mewtwo EX with a Mint 9 from Evolutions. I'll take that. I want to take a moment to pause and just say how nice these cards look in the case. They really pop with that clarity. So far, mostly 9s. Everything that I submitted here, that we've gone over so far at least, has been pack fresh. So right on target of just getting Mint 9s for pack fresh. Surfing Pikachu in a Mint 9. Same thing with flying. I'm happy with that. Let's see this one. Just take a bit to pause. All right, right off the bat, I noticed bad centering on the back. It's a little bit higher in this corner. It kind of droops down towards the right side of the card, and it gives a little bit of an angle. So I'd grade this maybe an 8.5 on centering. Let me see something too. Oh, that's normal. So 1, 2, 3. Venusaur, mint 9. This one has pretty rough centering on the back, so maybe everything else was perfect with the card and the centering is what brought it down. But I'll take a 9 with that back centering. I'm happy. I really do like this artwork. There we go, mint 9. Dragonite EX. This is, like as we've said, even in the submission, most of this stuff is evolutions. I think this one was also docked a bit because of poor centering on the back. And that's something that I've noticed a lot with CGC is you got to be very aware of the centering of the cards you're sending in, because it really does, they put a lot of weight on the centering. It'll really bring your grade down if you get an 8.5, an 8 on centering, and they're strict with those 8.5s and 8s on centering. 1, 2, 3. 9.5. This is awesome. Getting a 9.5 in this. You know, this might be a contender for a 10 at PSA, but I will accept the 9.5. I do like it. And I've said this with the Mewtwo, the cases are just so clear that the cards really do pop. And yeah, as I mentioned, just got to be really aware of those centering parameters they put on, because they are very strict. So if you're kind of on the edge, if you think the card has pretty awful centering, but everything else is good, I'm not even sure I would send it to CGC at the current time. Mint 9 on Snorlax. VMAX. I'm guessing this card might have been docked for surface because the centering looks good. Maybe a little bit left light, maybe a little bit like horizontally weighed. But it looks good. But this is another thing that you have to be aware of when you're submitting these cards with the full arts. There's a lot of surface area, a lot of texture that can be damaged, you know, in the process of handling the card if you unboxing it. So go over your cards before you send them in. I don't think you should be blind sending cards in the CGC. I think you have to be very aware of the quality beforehand. Next card is Moltres Zapdos Articuno GX 9.5. These are really surprising because I mentioned this in the previous submission video, was that I bought these secondhand. So secondhand, I thought I saw like a lot of edge wear on them to the point where they were maybe grade 8, 8.5. But to get 9.5 in this card of all cards that I submitted is surprising, because this is a card I didn't unpack, but all the cards I did unpack got 9s. The majority, I should say. Here we have that regular Zoroark GX. This is the Hidden Fates promotional one. Looks absolutely stunning with that blue casing and the blue on the card itself. Next up, we have 1, 2, 3. Nice. The Pikachu Black Star promo. This is from the Sword Shield figure collection. These cards are going absolutely insane in value right now. I'm seeing like 9s, even for $50+. It looks amazing in these cases. I can't speak, highly enough of the quality of the CGC slabs. This is an old back Japanese. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is my Entei from the Neo Premium File 2. Got an 8.5. I think this one got docked because of centering. I'm not sure if you see it well on camera, but it's a little bit skewed. So this like right corner is higher, and then as it comes to the left, it kind of drops a little bit. It's not a huge amount, but I think it is noticeable, maybe even more so on the bottom. But I've mentioned this before, I'm gonna keep mentioning it. CGC takes a lot of consideration into the centering of your cards. Is that a good thing? I'm not sure. For some people it might be a good thing, for some people it might be a bad thing. There's a lot of people I think that believe, I'm just trying to get this out of a glare, that believe that your card centering shouldn't matter as much as long as the rest of the card is in good condition. I think it's a tough decision to make and the call. Here's a new back Japanese card. It is Tree of Beginnings Mew. This is the 10th anniversary promo. Mint 9. I'm happy with this. I bought all of these, the 10th anniversary set, commemorative set. I bought them all secondhand. So for these cards to be secondhand and shipped all the way from Japan to me, to still receive 9s, I think is impressive. Another new back, might be 10th commemorative. It is 10th movie commemorative Mewtwo with an 8.5. This is just such a sick card. I'm just looking at these cases. There doesn't seem to be any scratches from what I noticed, or like any blemishes. The clear cases do pick up like sweat or dirt from your fingertips, but I haven't noticed any serious flaws like scratching or anything so far. So I'm happy with that. Next up, we have 9.5 in the Entei. This is the Crystal Tower Entei, same lot that I bought the Mew and Mewtwo from. I'll take a 9.5. I'm like looking back at this, I do kind of wish I submitted these 10th commemorative movie cards with the subgrades, because some of them do have decent value to them. And seeing that they graded so well now, I think having the subgrades would have added a lot of value and done a lot for me. Probably from the same collection. It is 9.5 Timeless Celebi. Beautiful in the slab. That clarity really lets that nice promo pop. The green with the blue does mix together nicely as well. Next up, we have 1, 2, 3. Visitor Deoxys from the same collection. This got a mint 9. I'm happy. Like it seems like I'm going over these really quickly, but I have nothing to say. Just because I wasn't very certain on how these cards grade. In my mind, I was expecting a lot of lower grades, like maybe 8s. But to see them get 9s, I'm not going to debate it. I'm not going to really argue it. Then I'm just happy to get these grades in. Next up, we have Pristine 10 Alto Maris Latias from the same collection. This is, getting a 10 in CGC is a good feeling. If you've submitted with them, you know that they're a lot tougher than maybe, say, a PSA. Maybe comparable to like a BGS 10 in terms of the strength. But it's just amazing to get any 10s from CGC because they don't just throw these out. And the gold does go really nicely with Latias's eyes. So I'm going to put this to the side so you get like a nice focus on the 10. Next up, we have Altomaris Latios in a 9.5. I'll take that. 9.5 is not bad. I would have preferred if this got a 10 so I could have sold these as like a nice matching, 10 slot. But I will take a 9.5 in this whole set that I got. Actually, this is kind of getting a little big, so I'm going to move everything to the side. Just so it's a little bit more out of the way. I'm going to leave the 10 in the center. 8.5 in the Wave Guiding Hero Lucario. 10th commemorative set, as I said in the other video, and I keep repeating myself. 8.5, not great, similar to the Mewtwo. This might have like surface issues that I'm not aware of. But anything above an 8, I think, is a win for CGC grades. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Blastoise EX from Evolutions. I just wanted to say, this looks sick with the blue label, the blue card. 8.5 obviously isn't great. I'm noticing like top down, there's not great centering. It's pretty heavy on the top compared to the bottom. But still, 8.5 in a CGC card, I'll still take that. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. 7 Nights Jirachi. This is 10th movie 9.5. Looks great in the case. The clear case does really let this artwork pop because it doesn't really put too much focus on like the case itself. Next up, we have back to English backings. We have Mint 9 Charizard GX from Hidden Fates from that lot with the birds. Happy to get a 9. I'm surprised that it graded that well, being second hand. Mint 9 in a Black Star promo one as well. I'll take that too. Same thing I said with that one. Surprised that those graded above an 8. Lieutenant Surge's Raichu from the VS series, Mint 9. Looks absolutely stunning in the case. God, these cards look so goddamn nice. 8.5 in the Mega Pidgeot EX. This is from Evolutions. This is the full art. 8.5. I'm kind of leaning towards there might have been like surface wear that I didn't notice. Oh, the centering's actually horrendous. Jesus. It's super light here. Well, not super, but it's much lighter here, and then it's angled, heading towards the right. So it's a little bit skewed. That's pretty noticeable off the bat, so I'm guessing that probably got like an 8 for centering, weak surface, and edges, which brought the grade down. Here is my Lilypad Mew Reverse Holo, Mint 9. I will take this. The centering wasn't perfect on these. I noticed that before I sent them in. So getting a 9 on them is still welcome. Guessing this is the regular holo for it. Mint 9 in the Lilypad Mew Holo. Let's see. Oh, there's a print line through the back of the card. I'm not sure if it pops up on camera. And this probably also had like minor surface. Oh yeah, on the back edge. I don't know if you see that on that corner. There's a little bit of wear. But still 9s all around are good. And this is the last of the non-subgraded cards. It is 9.5 Gem Mint Yukimori Venusaur and Snivy GX. I'm amazed that this got a 9.5 because, in the past people have always said promo cards come in bad condition, but this looks great. Like this came out perfect. All right, And just to wrap this up, I just want to show the distribution of the non-subgraded with subgraded, non-subgraded cards. There was 33 that I sent. We can just see it as like a visual histogram, the grades that I got. I got this many 8.5s, not that many, to be fair, for how many I submitted. Well over half, maybe like even a third, 2/3 were these 9s. So I am happy with that. Anything over an 8.5 for CGC is really strong. Next up, we have my 9.5s. Very comparable to the size of the 8.5s that I got in terms of distribution. And out of 33 cards that I submitted to CGC, only one got a pristine 10, which is low, to be fair. You know, out of 33 cards, I would hope for a little bit more, maybe these 9.5s to cross over. But for cards that I didn't take a lot of time to look into, I'm happy with at least 110. All right, this is what most people were interested in, I think, and what I was most interested to get back in were all my subgraded cards. We'll get right into it. 9 in the Charizard Braxian promo card. This is the same exact, it comes from the same collection as that Venusaur Snivy I just showed. Happy with a 9. Got an 8.5 on centering. This is where I think just having subgrades is so useful. If you get like a 9 or 8.5, you can just turn to the centering, not centering, but to the subgrades and see where it was weaker. So it's always nice to be able to actually look at the grade and look at the subgrades to kind of figure out where they all adds up. 8.5 in the Blackstar promo Ho-Oh. This one got an 8 surface. There might have been like some widening on the back. Oh yeah, on the corner right there, we see a little bit of widening. I still will take an 8.5 just because I know that these promo cards are kind of rough shape when you get them in. Here's an 8.5 in a Shining Ho-Oh from ETB, Shining Legends ETB. 8.5, 10 on centering, which is kind of surprising, but surface is where I got docked. So there might just be like some issues that I didn't notice before sending in. So I'm gonna look over these cards a lot more in depthly on my own. Next up we have 9.5 Mega Blastoise EX from Evolutions. I got a 9.5 in the full art Venusaur and a 9.5 in the full art Charizard. So this was the last 9.5 that I need to get for that 9.5 set. So I'll take that. Looks stunning in that blue case. Here we have, let's see, Charizard EX in a 9. Looks really good. Let me see. All right, when I submitted this card, there was like a small blemish at the top, but I'm not seeing it now. So I'm not sure maybe if they cleaned it off or something, but I'm not seeing the issues that I noticed. But I mean, this got an 8.5 surface, which seems fair because it was definitely a little bit of surface wear when I unpacked it. So, you know, this is consistent at least with what I noticed on the cards, which I think is important. For there to be consistency with what I believe the cards should get and what the company gives them. 8.5. This one graded 8.5 on centering and 8.5 on surface. So yeah, the previous one graded a little bit higher on centering, which brought it up. This one graded pretty poorly on centering, which brought it down. I think 8.5 in a Charizard is still fine. Let's see, this is a New Beck Japanese. Maybe it's a promo. 9.5 in the Japanese Charizard V. This was, oh, actually, this is a really strong 9.5. It's only half a point off from a quad 9.5. I'll take a 9.5 in these because I had so many. Maybe these are all this card. Let's see. 9.5 again. This one is a little bit stronger of a 9.5. You can look at the subgrades and kind of put together like kind of a visual cue of, you know, the quality of the card. 9.5 again in the Charizard V Japanese. These kind of sting. This is a quad 9.5 at least. So maybe I would price this a little bit higher than my other ones. But, you know, when you get 9.5s with CGC, there is something in my mind where you're like, oh, if I submitted that to PSA, that would have crossed to a 10. Because it's a little bit tough. You know, when you have a half grade step between a 9 and a 10, you're never sure if, you know, if you submitted this card to a different company, it would have just crossed to a 10 because PSA doesn't really give out 9.5s anymore. Next up, we have another 9.5 in the Charizard V Japanese. I'll take them. I'm just happy to get these back. Another 9.5 in the Charizard V from Japan. This one had perfect centering at least. I guess that's something. There we go, a pristine 10. This was half a point off from a perfect 10 from CGC, but I'll still take it. I would have liked the perfect 10, but they're saying that there's some surface some surface wear, which is a little surprising. Actually, maybe not. Most of these Charizard Vs that I just showed got 9.5s on surface. So this seems consistent with the other ones that I pulled and sent in. So I'll take a pristine 10. I think any 10 in CGC is worthwhile. Let's bring out the next lot of cards to go through. We have Shining Celebi in a 9. I do want to say these cards are not in the order that I submitted them, so I am kind of shocked what cards that I'm pulling. So I'm a little on the fence. That's why I seem surprised sometimes with what card it is. Shining Celebi in a 9, quad 9, strong 9 from CGC. I'm surprised this graded well because it was a promo card, and I'm not sure. If you look at this card, I don't think that centering deserves a 9. I would say 8.5 or even 8. It's super heavy on the right side. It's noticeable right off the bat. But if this is consistent with what they believe a 9 is, I guess we just take it. Next up, we have Shining Arceus in a 9. This had a weaker centering, which I do notice it's a lot heavier on the bottom. But the surface and the corners and edges were good. Perfectly fine, again, with 9s. 9 in Shining Jirachi. Oh God, these cards look so nice in the slabs. I'm happy to get these cards in for the value and the money that can be made off of them, but I'm also happy just to get them in and look at them. This is probably one of my favorite parts about grading cards, is looking at the grades. 8 in the Armored Mewtwo. 9 centering, 9.5 corners, 10 edges, but it's giving me a 7.5 on surface. Oh, I didn't notice this. I don't know if it comes up on camera. There's a dent right there on this left side. I think this one was fresh from one of the packs, the promo packs that it comes in, and it comes in with a plastic chip that's used for playing video games in Japan arcades. I think that chip imprinted onto the card, and I just didn't look at that surface well enough to notice. Yet again, though, this is consistent with a lot of the grades that I've seen online. People have gotten pretty low rolls on those, so I will take my 8. Here we have 7 in the promo of Pikachu from Sword and Shield. 9, 10, 9 with 6 on surface. This one I might have to look over a little bit more. So I'm not entirely sure why it's getting that low on the surface, unless there's a deep bend or something. I'm not sure at all. I'm kind of fogging it up with my fingerprints, but I don't really see why this graded a 6 on surface. That might even be something I resubmit to a different company or unslab and resubmit to CGC. Next up, 9.5 in the Mega Tokyo Pikachu. I love this card. It's so cute. It looked good with the 9. Look at that information they put on the label. That's everything you need to know about the card. It's extremely detailed with all the information you would want, and it got a good grade. I mean, I have no qualms with this. This is probably just going to go into my personal collection. Here we have an old back Japanese. Let's see. Charizard, 8.5. 8 surface. The corners and edges did good. The surface was a little rough, which might just be fair because it's an old promo card. And then an 8.5 centering. Yeah, this centering isn't great. I could definitely tell that it's a little bit skinnier on this side. But I think any Charizard, I sound like a Charizard shill at this point, but I think any Charizard is worth grading no matter the grade. Next up, let's flip it around. 8.5 in my Charizard Evolution. This one got an OC for centering, which means off center. I kind of sent this in anticipating an OC grade. I'm happy with the OC. The issue I have is why this graded poorly. Not issue, but this just graded poorly for surface. So I guess I'll have to go through again and see where exactly the surface was messed up. There is a print line on the Charizard, but I doubt that's why it got stocked to an 8. There might be some deep scratches that I didn't notice. But as a Charizard shield that I am, grade every Charizard you have, no matter the grade. Here's a 9 in Charizard Evolutions. This one's a pretty consistent 9, just one thing was above it, 8 edges, 9.5. These Evolution Charizards just look great in the slab. I actually sold my previous one in a 9 for 155. This is another, ooh, I didn't even notice this when I submitted it. What the hell? This one has a bleed, a hollow bleed throughout. I don't know if that picks up well. I saw a bunch of people talking about Hollow Bleed Evolutions. I didn't even notice that I had one. That's awesome, man. I'll take that. I'll try to maybe post pictures on my Instagram to show that better. 9 in my reverse hollow. I'll take that as well. 9s in Charizards are really appreciated. The last one in this pile, and then we have the last little set to go through. This is a new back Japanese. Web Charizard, 8.5. Let's go. This one got 9 centering, 8 surface, 10 corners, 9 edges. Let's see if I can just notice the surface. The front looks immaculate. The back might have like a small dent somewhere. Oh yeah, very, very slight. If you look on like the M, there's like a small dent. I'm not sure if I can pull it up. It's like a little press or indentation in the card. 8.5, I'm still happy with this. This was a card that I wasn't sure of the grade, just because I'm not good at like looking at the centering for e-reader cards or stuff of that like. But I'll take an 8.5. I think that's pretty fair and pretty good. And I do think that still will bring a little bit of money if I were to put it up for sale. Now here we're on to the last pile. More new back Japanese. Pristine 10 Charizard VMAX. Okay, half a point off from a perfect 10. We have loved the perfect 10. I will take a pristine in this card. They just look so good in the case. I keep repeating this throughout the video, but they look stunning. 9.5. This one got 10 centering, 9.5 surface, 9.5 edges. I think, you know, these cards you might want to reconsider and say, you know, let me submit them to PSA, see if they cross. But I would still take a 9.5 in these. I'm still happy with those grades. 9.5 as well. So only one, I sent 3 in, only one of them got a 10. So, you know, 1/3 of the Charizard VMAX I sent in got 10s if we look at it that way. Scoop Up Net, Secret Rare. This one got a mint 9. Dark Blastoise. Okay, I noticed this on the submission form. Can you see what's wrong with it? They labeled this card as the German variant for Blastoise. This is quite clearly not German. It's very English. I did contact them about this and they checked the submission and it seems like they just made a mistake on submitting it to me, shipping it back to me, that this shouldn't have said German. They made a mistake. And the CGC support was really nice on Instagram. I recommend talking to them on Instagram if you need help. They just said, submit it back, ship it back to us, and with like a little bit of a note on their website of how to do it, and they'll re-holder it for free. So at least they're willing to rectify the issue that they make very quickly and nicely. Mint 9, this is a lot better too than what I expected. I messed these up. Now it makes sense. Mint 9, I thought this was gonna get an 8, but I will take a 9. This is probably going into my personal collection as well, just because I love that artwork. Here we have Megalopunny and Jigglypuff GX, Mint 9 as well. Nice little card. These secret rares I'm not huge fans of, but just get them graded because I think they're a little bit undervalued right now. Here's a 9 in the Shining Legends Zoroark secret rare. Next up we have 8.5 in the secret rare Raichu. I'm not happy that, like, not 8.5, it says it got an 8 on surface, which definitely brought it down. I would have to go through again. Maybe I scratched it when I unpacked it. I unpacked this card too right around the time that I was still getting into Pokemon. So I maybe just didn't take good care of it when I pulled it out of the pack. Mint 9 Shining Rayquaza got 8.5 centering as its worst. I will say this seems fair. This card at a glance, I do notice some miscentering. Maybe a little harsh to be at 8.5 and bring the grade down, but at least it seems consistent with the CGC scale for centering. 8.5 on Shining Mew. Weakest one again with a lot of these cards is the centering, which brought it down to an 8. Kind of tough, but I do think as long as CGC stays consistent and they value centering at this level, it's okay. Mint 9 Shining Mew. Again, with the previous one, centering is again the weakest area. 8.5 centering, which brought it down. This one goes up here. Shining Volcanion with a 9. This one actually, his weakest was surface. So that's, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but a weak surface, but everything else looks good on the card. I'm happy to pull 9s at any Shining Legend stuff because I did notice a lot of printing errors when I unpack them. Mint to 9 again on Shining Volcanion. If we look at the grades, this one is a little bit stronger of a 9. This had 10 surface, 10 corners, 9.5 edges. I mean, if this pulls a 9 in centering, this rolls up to a 9.5. This is a much stronger 9. Next up, Shining Lugia. This is a Black Star promo, similar to the same set as the Celebi. They gave this a 7.5. So they're saying it's a 6.5 on the surface, which makes me think that there's like either some deep edge, what am I looking for? Like deep presses or something, if there's some serious issues with it. I gave it an 8 on corners too, which seems rough. This is just maybe a card I have to go through on my own with like a magnifying glass and figure out where they're seeing the errors. But so far, out of 40 cards, only 3 cards have grades that are much lower than I had anticipated. 8.5 Shining Genesect. This one, weak centering, pulled it down to an 8. Yeah, as I said, Shining Legends has bad centering. CGC really values the centering, so it's an unfortunate mix. Second to last, near mint to mint 8 on this Mewtwo GX. This got a 7.5 surface. I know why this got 7.5 surface. If we look at the back, it has widening throughout. And this is, I've seen a bunch of CGC Mewtwo's on eBay. They all have the same issue with that widening. And they all grade an 8 because the surface grade just pulls it down. No matter what you get on the centering, corners, and edges, it will always be brought down. And our last card is a Mint 9 Charizard GX from Detective Pikachu file. I'm happy with a 9. Promo 9 is always good. All right. So I'm going to do like a little histogram breakdown of the subgraded cards. Here we have them. It's actually a bad camera angle, but I'll just hold them up. Here are our 8 5s out of 41 cards. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards got 8 5. A majority, just like our non-subgraded, a majority of the cards got 9. That's fair. A lot of these cards were pack fresh or like pulled freshly. So a 9 on them is pretty consistent with what I think pack fresh stuff should get. Here's the amount that we got as 9s. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 cards is 9.5. 9 cards is 8.5. 9 cards is 9.5. I guess it depends on what you're expecting from your submissions, but I think if a majority of your cards are landing around that 9 area on like a bell curve, it's fine. And we only had 2 pristine 10s out of our non-subgraded 2 Japanese cards, Charizard VMAX and Charizard V. Of all the cards to get this pristine 10 on, you probably do want it on a Charizard, so I am fine with that. And then in terms of cards that I'm kind of shocked by the grade on is these, or maybe not this, this is consistent with what I've seen. This 8 on the Armored Mewtwo is my error. I didn't notice a serious press on the card, so I accept that. 6.5 on surface. Oh, there are some dents actually, I see them now. Not sure if they will come up well, but there's like a little bit of like a press right there, just for maybe plastic. So that's consistent, and this one having a 6 surface. I'm still unsure, so I'll go back and look. Yeah, this video has been like a month in anticipation from myself and maybe from you guys wanting to watch it. I'm just happy with the grades that I got. I'm happy that I got my submission back in relatively timely fashion. I've said this in the submission video, if you're sending bulk orders to CGC, you're looking at like 4 months to get your stuff back. So I think to get my cards back in less than a month, all in, and that's including business days and the weekends, I think that's a really good deal. All right, if you're interested in any of these cards, feel free to check out my eBay. I'm gonna have a majority of them listed soon. And thanks for watching. I always appreciate you guys watching these videos. All right, have a nice one.